Good evening. Welcome to our YouTube channel tonight. Hope you're all doing well, feeling good. We're just thinking that the weather's warming up and it looks like summer's on the way. Tonight, I just want you all to sit back, relax. I intend to talk about the Buffalo shooting. But before I get into things, just want to make a couple statements. Tonight, I'm strictly providing psychoeducational information to the audience, not looking to make any diagnosis, any assessments, just giving information. And once again, I do not have a professional relationship with anyone that's listening. All of you know that on Saturday, May the 14th, an 18-year-old white male drove over 200 miles from his hometown of Conklin, New York, to Buffalo, New York, to commit a premeditated mass killing in a predominantly Black community. The gunman was identified during his arraignment as Peyton Gendron. That name that matches the name given in a 180-page manifesto that surfaced online shortly after the gruesome attack and took credit for the violence in the name of white supremacy. The director of the Anti-Defamation League said that they are still sifting through the document, but they can already draw some significant conclusions. First, it's greatly anti-Semitic. Second, greatly racist against people of color. Third, it's focused on white supremacy. And fourth, radicalized all the ways that we can possibly think of. The killer's document showed that he plotted the attack in gruesome, grotesque detail. He plotted his actions down to the minute, extremely well calculated, including diagrams of his path through the store, and said he specifically targeted the Tops Market grocery store located on Jefferson Avenue because its zip code had the highest percentage of Black people close enough to where he lived. Now, what exactly is a white supremacist? A white supremacist is a person who believes that white people constitute a superior race and should therefore dominate society, typically to the exclusion or detriment of other racial and ethnic groups, in particular, Black or Jewish people. The killer chose Buffalo, New York, because the city has the most Black residents, and it was close to his vicinity where he lived. The Attorney General, Merrick Garland, said the Justice Department is now investigating the shooting as a hate crime and an act of racially motivated, violent extremism. The killer shot and killed 10 people and wounded 3 others at the Tops grocery store. The grocery store is described as the anchor of the community. It was a lifeline for the people in that community. It was the social gathering place where people would come together, meet, talk, and greet each other and catch up. It was a social environment. The Blacks enjoy socializing. They did that at Tops grocery stores. They expressed themselves. Things has changed drastically for this community, which was traumatized by the gunman. The community is struggling to understand what has happened. Traumatic experiences can affect and alter our emotional and physical functioning. Trauma, including one-time, multiple, or long-time, or repetitive events, affects everyone differently. Trauma shatters your sense of security, your sense of stability, making you feel helpless and vulnerable in a dangerous or unpredictable world. Psychological trauma can leave you struggling with negative emotions, memories, and anxiety that won't go away. The community in Buffalo is hurting. If the grocery store doesn't reopen, the African American residents would have to leave the neighborhood to acquire food and essential items. This would be a significant hardship for the 40% of residents who do not own cars. The killer live streamed the attack on the social media platform, Twitch, and had the N-word written on his rifle. Videos from the scene showed that. The gunman was dressed in tactical gear and opened fire in the parking lot at around 2:30 in the afternoon. Black people were killed while walking, and Black people were killed while working. The gunman took 1 minute and 23 seconds to commit a mass murder. A mass murder is defined by the killing of at least 3 people at one location. The major type of mass killers are what we call pseudocommandos. In forensic psychiatry, pseudocommando has been used to describe mass murderers who commit premeditated homicide, murder, or suicide, driven by revenge, fantasies, typically involving the stockpiling of weapons, followed by a heavily armed commando-style attack. This is what happened at Tops grocery store last week. Here's something to know about pseudocommandos. On personality tests, they tend to score higher than the general population on openness to experience. They're more willing to try things than the so-called normal population or general population. They're willing to do different things than the average person. They're more adventurous, tend to be more bold and risk takers. They tend to be very daring. And they score lower than the general population on extroversion and agreeableness, which means that they tend to be introverted people who spend time alone. They like to be by themselves, and they're comfortable that way. And they don't agree on everyday things that the average person would agree on. So they tend to be very, very different thinkers. The research says that mass killers tend to kill during the day. This mass killing took place at 2:30. So mass killers tend to kill in broad daylight. They also tend to feel that they have been mistreated by others. They haven't been treated fairly, which produces angry feelings. Also, mass killers tend to be obsessed with weapons. They love guns, tactical gear. Mass killers also tend to be loners. They're very introverted people, not good at socializing with others. Mass killers tend to be very angry people. And we know that when people are angry, they can become unpredictable, because anger is a powerful emotion that can easily overtake someone. And anger produces unpredictable behavior. When someone will ask me to come in and evaluate an individual who's angry, probably the safest thing for me to say is that I don't know what this person is capable of when they become overwhelmed with anger. Another behavior is that they harbor a collection of injustices. They may feel that they've been slighted, that they've been betrayed, that they haven't been treated fairly. So they carry those and they hold on to them. They also tend to be narcissistic individuals. They want a complete focus on themselves. It's like they want to be in the spotlight. Other individuals, other people don't matter. They don't care about others. It's all about me. So the narcissism is present, and it's very, very evident because the focus is on one person. And the other factor about pseudocommandos is they tend to suppress their emotional response. These individuals appear to be detached from others. Their emotional affect is not normal, so to speak. They may laugh at something that's not funny. So they suppress their emotional response. The alleged manifesto admits to planning the attack passively for about 2 years and seriously planning the attack, within the last few months. It bemoans a purported white genocide taking place in America and proudly brags of the killer's racist and anti-Semitic views. Racism has existed in America from the very beginning. It's been here for a long time, and unfortunately, it's not going anywhere. But if we want to do the work of eradicating racism It starts internally. We need to examine ourselves and ask, how comes I have these negative feelings towards people from a different race, a different culture, a different ethnic group? How comes? It's internal, and we need to do visceral work. The gunman had a serious issue with diversity in America. He was a white supremacist. The governor of New York said, "It has to end right now." That is our message, she said. We will continue to work at the federal, state, and local level with our community leaders, with our community partners, to identify these messages as soon as they arise on social media. That is our best defense, she said, right now, as well as the legal system, the prosecution. She concluded by saying, "It is my sincere hope that this individual, this white supremacist, who just perpetrated a hate crime on an innocent community, will spend the rest of his life behind bars, and heaven help him in the next world to come." That's what the governor of New York said. In closing, I love what a worker at Top's grocery store said. She said, "I just don't want hate and evil to win over love and compassion." She was focused on the reopening of the grocery store, which would infuse life into her community. The worker was concerned about the common unity. We should all be more concerned about the common unity, which is our community. Without the common unity, existence is hard. So I just ask that you embrace each other. Embrace the community that you live in. Do your best to make it a better place. Because so many communities are hurting because of violence, white supremacy attitudes, and behaviors. Tonight, we lift up the community of Buffalo, New York, and we pray that they get through this tragedy in the days to come, and that the common unity will be restored. Thank you and good night.